Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 6th of February and we are going to deal with two very important topics which are in news. Myanmar's civil war and what are India's interests. February 2021, after the general elections was conducted, Myanmar slipped into military rule. There was a military coup and which deposed the Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy. Since then, there have been resistance against the military people. Some pro democratic factions are fighting with the military over there. And in all this, India's investments have been suffering in Myanmar, particularly the Kaladan multimodal project. On top of that, China's involvement is further complicating the situation for India. This is something which India does not want and needs to take care of diligently. Next is the Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Bill 2024, which was tabled yesterday in Lok Sabha. In the last 5 years, there have been 48 instances of paper leaks in 16 states impacting 1.5 crore lives. Through this bill, the government wants to punish those offenders who are involved directly or indirectly in these kind of unfair practices. Public examinations are listed as those examinations conducted by UPSC, SSC, IBPS, RRB or the National Testing Agency. So, on a lighter note, any of you who are wanting to adopt these unfair means, do not, because the punishments are non-bailable, non-cognizable and they are severe in nature. So, let's get started with this. Now, when I talk about Myanmar's civil war, this war has been there into place since 2021, when the Myanmar military basically ousted the elected government of Aung San Suu Kyi. There were elections in 2020. The results had to be declared, and it was quite clear that Aung San Suu Kyi, the most popular leader over there, the National League for Democracy, NLD is that political party, was poised to win the elections for the second time in a row. They also won the elections in 2015, and now 2020 elections were also for them to win. But those elections were declared null and void by the military junta over there, and they took over the administration. Now, when they took over the administration, there was a lot of chaos. There is a lot of chaos also right now. But at that time, when they took over, the military junta knew that there will be resistance from the people as well as the pro-democratic factions. But they did not expect that such a fierce resistance would be there and groups would be formed which will be fighting militarily with the military for such a long time. Yes, the ethnic armed organizations and the People's Defense Forces, they have, intensified their operations and they have come into control of many towns and cities, especially the strategic ones. Towns and cities on the Myanmar China border, towns and cities on the Myanmar India and Myanmar Bangladesh border. And they are giving a tough time to the military over there. This was not expected by the military. And in all this, strategic interests of India, they have been compromised. India had done investments in multiple infrastructural projects over there, like notably the Kaladan multimodal project. So that has been struggling. So we will look into it in detail. Now, what happened a few weeks ago? The Arakan army. Arakan is basically the old name for Rakhine. This is basically the boundary. Here is Rakhine state. Here is basically the Chin state of Myanmar. These are provinces. So The Arakan army from the Rakhine state captured Paletwa. Paletwa is a town over here in Chin state. There is a long-standing conflict between, the Arakan people and the Chin people over possession of Paletwa. Paletwa is a strategic town, and few weeks ago, Arakan army captured Paletwa in the Chin state, which lies on the Myanmar's western borders with Bangladesh and India. It is a commercial town where the Kaladan River basically is flowing from here to here. This is the Kaladan River, Sitwe to Paletwa. And therefore, any armed group with a significant presence in the town of Paletwa will have access to economic gains coming from this region. This is basically the Kaladan River. So any group over here will have access to economic gains, because anywhere a river is there or freshwater resources are there, so gains are there. But notable is that the Arakan people and the Chin people, they were fighting. Now Arakan people have taken over Paletwa, and notably that both these people are now together fighting the Myanmar army. Means the Chin people are okay with the fact that the Arakan people from Rakhine have taken over Paletwa. This is one thing which you need to know, that people have come together in Myanmar in fighting their own military. Now, second thing which you need to know over here is the Kaladan multimodal project. When I talk about the Kaladan multimodal project, this is Kaladan River. So what we are trying to do is, we have built this Sitwe port over here. You're seeing this Sitwe port over here. India has built it. Now from this Sitwe port, we are, wanting to develop this waterway on the Kaladan River from Sitwe to Paletwa. And then from Paletwa to Zorinpuri in Mizoram. This is Mizoram. This is where we have entered India. This is the Myanmar-India boundary which I have just drawn. So here we have entered India. So from Paletwa till Mizoram here in Zorinpuri and Longklai over here, we want to create a road. We want to develop or construct a road. Why we want to do it? Because presently what happens is, the trade to and from northeast passes through the Chicken's Neck corridor, and then it takes a lot of time to reach here. From Kolkata port, it goes to the Chicken's Neck corridor and then it comes. So in the next slide, I'll show you that. And if we develop this, then our access to Mizoram from here will definitely be very easy. From here, the Kaladan River, from the Sitwe port, then this road, and we enter Mizoram, and here is this Bay of Bengal. So any trade from northeast can easily go and come from this Sitwe port or this Kaladan multimodal project. But unfortunately, this project is under stalling. So this picture will give you a clear idea about the Kaladan multimodal project. So this is basically the Kolkata port over here. From here, presently what happens is, the imports and exports pass through this Chicken's Neck corridor. This is the Chicken's Neck corridor. And then they enter over here. But if we develop this Kaladan River multimodal project, this is the Sitwe port we have already developed. Okay. Paletwa inland port already developed. Waterway means on this Kaladan River already almost finalized. But the main problem is this road from Paletwa to Zorinpuri border crossing. We are not able to develop this portion. That is creating a problem. And due to this portion not completed, we are not able to fulfill our objective of increasing seamless trade or easy trade from northeast to the world, or from the world to the northeast. The trade is still passing through this Chicken's Neck corridor. This is a very, I would say, crucial corridor for India. That is the only land connectivity which connects mainland India with northeast India. Lot of congestion is already over here, and on top is China, which we face constant threats from China for this corridor. So we want to expedite these kind of processes. It is not only Myanmar through which we have done such deals. We have done such deals with Bangladesh also. In Bangladesh, there are two ports, Chattogram and Mongla, where easy passage to northeast will be facilitated. So those are working, no doubt about the fact, but we need more alternate routes, and this particular alternate route from Myanmar, that is the Kaladan multimodal project, is not working. We need to function it, or we need to fructify this project so that we can deal with it in or increase our economic activities in the northeastern region. And this is something which is actually impacted by the ongoing civil war over there. Now, the Kaladan multimodal project, India and Myanmar signed this framework agreement in the year 2008. The operationalization of the project was delayed because of three factors. First is rugged terrain. It is hilly terrain over there, so it becomes difficult to carry out the construction works. No doubt about this fact, yes, but we are dealing with this. Inadequate interdepartmental coordination between India and Myanmar, and between Myanmar governments and all. Then political instability and security challenges in Myanmar. This is the major challenge, due to which we are not able to do it. We'll be able to deal with this because this was already there. We knew when we were envisaging it in 2008. So we had plans for this. This we were tackling. This could have also been tackled, but this political instability is something which was unforeseen, and it is getting complex and complex. Now, the military takeover, first of all, that was a big blow to India because India had good relations with the government, Aung San Suu Kyi government. So, first of all, the military takeover. Then now, these pro-democratic forces which are fighting the military, some of them also do not want this kind of projects to be implemented. So the situation has got more complex. On top of that, China is also there. China is also trying to block India's projects over there. So that is also further complicating the situations. Now, while the Sitwe port and inland water terminal at Paletwa have been completed in the past few years, they have been completed, road construction is facing challenges due to prevailing security situation in Myanmar. That is basically the main challenge, that is road construction. This has to be done, and this, if it is not done, then that multimodal project in full or in whole will not be there. So we need to look into this. Now, do the people want this project? We have two factions. One is the military, who is presently ruling over there, and on the other side we have the pro-democratic forces who are fighting with the military. I am not taking into account the government, the democratic government over there, which was there, and we had good rapport with them, but they are not there, so I am not considering them. Presently, these two are the entities which are there in concern. Now, when I talk about do the people want this project, so we are talking about these people, pro-democratic forces. Now, for expeditious implementation, the attitudes of the local ethnic organizations towards Kaladan project should be factored in. People of Mizoram, obviously, in India, they will be wanting it, and their co-ethnics across the border in the Chin state, where all this is, are interested in the expedited completion of the Kaladan project, as it will spur economic activity in the region. Now, this Paletwa is in the Chin state. So, the Chin people are wanting it. But there are certain news pieces, or there are certain reports that the Arakan army is not favorably disposed to the Kaladan project. Arakan army, who has a few weeks ago taken over Paletwa in the Chin state. So they are dominant ones right now, and they do not want it. Prior to the coup, in 2021 the coup happened. Prior to that, numerous reports indicated that India and Myanmar have launched coordinated operations against the Arakan army units that were operating close to India's borders near Mizoram and threatening the Kaladan project. Actually, they are not threatening it now. They are threatening it from a long time. Before the coup also they were threatening it. So now they have come, or they are becoming dominant day by day. So their, I would say, opposition to this particular project is also increasing. It is believed in this way. And guess what? They are having China's support. China is playing so smart over here in Myanmar that it is there with the military. In 2021, when the military coup happened, the military leaders of Myanmar 2 days before that coup were seen with Chinese officials. Now, it was a big question that was there China's involvement in that. However, these kind of things are not proven or testified, so we can only discuss these things. So this was there. So it clearly is the situation that Chinese support to the military is there. But Chinese support to these pro-democratic forces is also there in Myanmar. Why China has forged partnerships with them? Because there are a lot of Chinese investments also in Myanmar. In order to safeguard those Chinese investments, China will have to be friends with them. Actually, China will have to be friends with everyone, the military and the pro-democratic forces. So China's engagement with the pro-democratic forces is increasing, particularly the Arakan army. And Arakan army is against Indian projects, this Kaladhan multimodal project. What does China want? It wants this only, to stall or to become a roadblock in India's progress, that too in other countries, and give precedence to its projects. So China's involvement has further complicated this situation. Now, China's involvement, we will see this. The Arakan army, along with the Myanmar National Democratic Alliance army and the Tang National Liberation Army, these are the three pro-democratic forces which are fighting against their own army right now, is part of the Three Brotherhood Alliance, which some claim has China's support. The alliance has pledged to protect Chinese investments in Myanmar. That is why this alliance is there. Now, what is the concern for India? Basically, the Arakan army receives considerable funding and multilateral equipment from China. It is believed, various reports suggest this. If such reports are true, there will be concerns in Delhi that Beijing is using armed groups to slow down India's connectivity projects in Myanmar. And this is what is the major concern for India. What are the Chinese investments in Myanmar? What these groups are poised to protect? Now, China has one China-Myanmar economic corridor, just like China-Pakistan economic corridor. It is part of the larger BRI. So, we see here, this is largely what China-Pakistan economic corridor is. Pipelines are already laid. Roads, railways constructions is on the anvil. And it ends in the port named as Kyokpyu port. Okay. China has operationalized oil and natural gas pipelines from Shui gas fields near Kyokpyu. Kyokpyu is the port which China has developed in Rakhine state to Yunnan province in China. So from here, pipeline is taking petroleum products to China. 2 months ago, China signed supplementary agreements with Myanmar military. See, China's engagement with Myanmar military is also there, to operationalize deep sea port of Kyokpyu and a special economic zone near Kyokpyu. So this is basically engagement with the military, engagement with those pro-democratic groups. There were renewed efforts to construct a railway line from China's Yunnan to Kyokpyu via Mandalay as part of China-Myanmar economic corridor. This road and railway lines can also come in the times to come. So this is largely what the China-Myanmar economic corridor looks like. The red line over here which you are seeing is basically the gas pipeline, and the blue line which you see is the oil pipeline which is already there, but road and rail connectivity is also coming up in this region. So India needs to take care of this. India needs to also engage with all the groups over there, negotiate with them if they have a problem with India, and expedite the projects. All the groups means pro-democratic groups as well as the military over there. India's diplomatic skills will be on a test in Myanmar, and it will be a tough test. We also need to take into account that China has a permanent seat in UNSC. So groups in Myanmar can look towards China with greater hope that at the global level, China can keep their concerns, their respective concerns. But it is not the case with India because India is not having a permanent seat in UNSC. So their perception about India can be this also. But as I said, it is going to be a diplomatic test for India and a tough test for India. India should live up to its, I would say, deliveries or diplomatic, I would say, performances which it has done in the past. Humanitarian aid, assistance is the key, which India has also promised Myanmar because Myanmar is having the highest Indian investments in any ASEAN country. Around 1.4, 1.5 billion dollar Indian investments are there in Myanmar. We should top it up with humanitarian assistance to Myanmar. So this is basically the way out. Then next is Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Bill 2024. So let me give you a disclaimer. Any one of you who is thinking to adopt unfair means, drop the plan because you are going to get punished severely if you get caught. This is on a lighter note. I know many of you are not, but yes, if any one of you is or if anyone gets caught, then the punishments are severe. Now, this bill is tabled, not yet passed, but yes, sooner it will be a reality. It will get passed. Probably I'm hoping that in 2024 only it will be passed. Now, the Public Examinations Prevention of Unfair Means Bill 2024 was introduced in Lok Sabha on Monday. The bill aims to prevent unfair means in order to bring greater transparency, fairness and credibility to the public examination systems. Now, what was the need for this bill? Actually, in the recent past, if I talk about the last 5 years, 48 instances of paper leaks in 16 states over the last 5 years have happened, and this particular activity has impacted 1.5 crore lives. Malpractices in public examinations lead to delays and cancellations of examinations, adversely impacting the prospects of millions of youth. So, due to this bill is being brought in, or this law is being brought in. Now, let us get into the details. First of all, what are unfair meals under the law? Section 3 of the bill lists at least 15 actions that amount to using unfair means in public examinations for monetary or wrongful gains. First is leakage of question paper prior to the conduction of the examination. That is a punishable offence. Accessing or taking possession of question paper or an OMR sheet, that is optical mark recognition response sheet, without authority. So that is punishable. Tampering with answer sheets including OMR response sheets, that is a punishable offence. After submitting it, obviously this will happen. Providing solution to one or more questions by any unauthorized persons during a public examination. When you are writing this examination and someone comes and starts helping you, that person is not authorized to be there, you are authorized to be there, then that is punishable. Directly or indirectly assisting the candidate in a public examination, that is punishable. This is a very broad, I would say, provision, assisting the candidate, so it can be on the whims and fancies of the security agencies. Tampering with any document necessary for shortlisting of candidates or finalizing the merit or rank of the candidate. Tampering with a computer network or a computer resource or a computer system, since many of the examinations are conducted online also. So this is there. Creation of fake website, conduct of fake examination, issuance of fake admit cards or offer letters to cheat or for monetary gain. This is also which can happen. This is India, so anything can happen. Fake websites can be created, fake examinations can be conducted. Then for in those examinations, let's suppose there's a racket conducting those examinations, and that racket reaches out to people who have filled the forms and say that if you want to clear this examination, give us this much money and you will be there in the list. So fake examination will be conducted by those people, money will be taken, and obviously the end result, selection will not be there because that examination is actually fake. So this is there. Which exams are public exams? We need to understand these because this is for public exams. So under section 2K, a public examination is defined as any examination conducted by a public examination authority listed in the schedule of the bill or any such other authority as may be notified by the central government from time to time. Now, as of now, the public examination authority, there are 5 public examination authorities mentioned under the bill. First is our very own Union Public Service Commission. It conducts many examinations like civil services examination, combined defense services, multiple other also, geoscientists and multiple other. Then next is Staff Selection Commission, Group B, Group C, Group D services. There, those people are selected through SSC. Then Railway Recruitment Board selects the people in Group C and D services for the railways. Institute of Banking and Personnel Selections for, the public sector banks. This is a common examination. And next is National Testing Agency, IIT, JEE, NEET PG. All these examinations are conducted by NTA. So any examination conducted by these 5 examination authority or public examination authority will be considered as public exam. Remember, these all are under the central government. So this bill being tabled by the central government covers these central level examinations only, and this bill can act as, I would say, a guiding light for the state governments to frame such laws in their respective states which can tackle these kind of situations for a state examination. So their state public service commission and all will be there. Okay? So it is like this. Now, apart from these designated public examination authorities, all ministries or departments of the central government and their attached and subordinate offices for recruitment of staff will also be covered, because at times there are direct vacancies in the ministries or any sub office of the ministry, and for that an examination is conducted. So that is also covered, and the central government can add new authorities in the schedule through a notification as and when required. There is no need of amendment to the bill. A notification only can do this. Now the punishments. Punishments, section 9 of the bill states that all the offences shall be cognizable, means that an arrest can be made without a warrant. Non-bailable. Bail will not be a matter of right over here. Rather, a magistrate will determine whether the accused is fit to be released on bail or not. That is a non-bailable offence. And non-compoundable. A non-compoundable offence is one in which the case cannot be withdrawn by the complainant even when the complainant and the accused have reached a compromise. And a trial must necessarily follow. Trial should be there. There is no, I would say, compromise like situation where we can settle the case. No, nothing like this. Okay. So it will have to go under trial. That is what non-compoundable means. Now let's see into the details the punishments. The punishment for any person or persons resorting to unfair means and offences can be 3 to 5 years in prison and a fine up to rupees 10 lakh. If the convict fails to pay the fine, an additional punishment of imprisonment shall be imposed as per the provisions of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. Next, section 10(2) says, a service provider who is engaged to provide support of any computer resource or any material by whatever name it may be called for the conduct of the examination can be fined up to rupees 1 crore along with other penalties if found guilty. The bill provides for harsher punishments In case of organized paper leaks, there are multiple gangs, organized criminal groups, which are involved in paper leaks and all. Where organized crime is defined as an unlawful activity by a group of persons colluding in a conspiracy to pursue or promote a shared interest for wrongful gain in respect of a public examination. Now, this organized criminal group, section 11(1) says that the punishment for this organized crime will be imprisonment for a term not less than 5 years, but which may be extended to 10 years, and a fine which shall not be less than 1 crore rupees. So, fines are hefty over here. So, we need to take into account these big punishments, and if any one of you is or was planning to do or adopt any wrongful means, drop that plan. All this is on a lighter note. Okay. So, this is it from today's session, and I will be meeting you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Namaste. Jai Hind.